What's up, everyone? Welcome to Among the Fence, my YouTube channel where I do music reviews. My name is Aaron, and today we're going to be checking out the new album, Change the Way You Think About Pain by the band Incendiary. Incendiary is a hardcore punk band. A lot of people consider them to be metalcore, but I consider them to be more hardcore than anything else. They're from New York, and they started around 2007. And Change the Way You Think About Pain is their fourth studio album. I discovered this band just a few months and instantly fell in love because I grew up with my favorite band was Rage Against the Machine, and while they're not something I still listen to regularly, I still just it just takes me back. And hearing vocals like Zach's from Rage Against the Machine is just so fantastic. And Incendiary is so just similar vocally, very much so lyrically, but instead of being influenced by hip hop, I guess you could say, as much as Rage Against the Machine was, with like Tom Morello's crazy guitar work stuff where it sounds like a turntable. Incendiary uses hardcore music and it works just amazingly. And I am just so stoked about this album. When I heard it was coming out, I went back and listened to all their past stuff, and it's fantastic. And this new album, I feel like, is going to push them even further. So let's jump into it. The album opens up with the song Bite the Hook, which has a really groovy riff and vocal delivery. The vocals are very Zach De La Rocha-esque. You can hear it right off the bat. The drum work pushes this song along, and the chorus is dissonant with a buzzing guitar. It's got lots of different sections that flow seamlessly back to the final chorus, which is super addicting. And it closes things off with a galloping breakdown. Then we have Jesus Bones, which comes in with another big dissonant riff. And the dissonance kind of pops up here and there between a pounding riff. And the chorus and the post-chorus are just fantastic. The post-chorus is more of a breakdown than anything else, while the verses feel more suspenseful. Echo of Nothing has a stompy groove to it, and the chorus has cool vocal layering, which gives a lot of atmosphere and good metaphors, like a waving flag is a different shade. The outro is very aggressive, but the line going into it is absolutely brilliant. And it says, when the well dries up, the bread is turned to crumbs, they'll look down at the streets and use the stones to speak. And I just love the different metaphors. I mean, you get what he's saying, but at the same time, it's just so good. It's so good. He takes his time with his lyrics. They rhyme and they just work so well. And again, they fit the vocal delivery, which is, like I said, Zach De La Rocha. It's very good political stuff. And it's just great. Post Parasite has a drum-driven verse, which is super fast. The chorus has this jingly guitar with echoed vocals. The bridge has this eerie guitar harmony that gives it a little bit more variety of music for your ears, and the breakdown is super quick with a dynamic riff. Then we have the song Lie of Liberty, which has a raw guitar that just brings all kinds of different melodies that we haven't heard yet. As it's a little bit slower out of all the songs, it creates like this kind of creepy, omniscient feeling. It picks up a little bit more going in the pre-chorus, while the chorus just goes back down and has a really good hook to it. It's a really straightforward song until we get to the end where the rhythm becomes a little bit more aggressive, but it's kind of nice to have it break up the monotony of just a bunch of hard music coming at you really fast. This thing slows down a little bit right in the middle of the album. It helps break things up. Then we have CTE, which has this bass and drum powered intro. It sounds fantastic. A guitar joins in, and it's a little bit more drawn out. The chords aren't quite as quick. Once the verse comes in, though, it just becomes completely chaotic with more of hardcore inspired rhythm and vocal delivery. The vocals are a little bit quicker too. It's also got some like left and right panning in the mix. Again, it's just simple things like that really help break up the monotony that certain genres have to them. It makes it feel like it's all over the place as well. Again, it just makes this thing feel a lot more insane than it really is. Collision brings this album back around again to being a straightforward chugfest. Even though it's the same kind of in-your-face riff that we've heard before, it's just having a break from it makes it so much heavier, and it makes it so much harder. The breakdown is super full and it's fast and calling people out at the same time, so it makes it even more brutal. Then we have the song Rats in the Cellar, which has a build-up. It's got like this kind of swelling guitar sound with a lot of feedback. The verse has sick vocals, while the chorus lets the music breathe a little bit more. And the vocals are more drawn out. They're a little bit more sung, I guess you could say. And I believe that this is about the protests and riots that happened a few years ago. At least that's what I take from it. But either way, I just again, the lyrics present this thing in a fantastic way. Santosha, or Illusion itself, has a riff that reminds me a lot of something Lamb of God would write in the verse, with a droning chord progression in the chorus. The breakdown has like this buzzsaw guitar with some squeals, and it's all out in front of the mix. It sounds so vicious. And again, even though it's the same kind of thing we've already heard, just changing the mix up a little bit, make it more out in front, just makes it just feel so much more. And the outro in this song is so explosive. And then we have the closing track song, which is also the title track, Change the Way You Think About Pain, which is the longest song on this album, it's almost about 5 minutes long. It's a combination and just the perfect summary of everything that we've heard so far. The chorus has like this slow riff to it, and it builds up the tension before it picks up the pace and slows back down again going into verse 2. The bridge is huge, and it ends this thing with just a lot of emotion. And even though it is, I mean, you feel the length on this one, considering all the other songs are pretty short, coming in at 5 minutes, you definitely feel this one. But the emotion you feel in this song, it's different from all the other ones as well. It doesn't feel like they extended it beyond what it needed to be. It doesn't feel like anything should be taken out to make the song shorter. It definitely works throughout this thing, and it fits this album so well, and it's a perfect closing track for it. This is basically everything that I wanted Rage Against the Machine to be, now that I'm a lot older than I was when I would consider them to be my favorite band, and when I first discovered them. The lyrics are very well written in this, and they give you a lot of things to really think about and kind of dissect in a way. And Brandon Garone, I believe that's how you pronounce his vocalist's last name, he was asked in an interview how he feels about being compared to Rage Against the Machine. And of course, he mentions their music is vastly different, which it very much is. But vocally, he sounds very similar, but he hopes to be more compared to Zach De La Rocha as in a lyricist, which I completely see it. I mean, the lyrics just hit so hard. It's all about, the same kind of political stuff. Zach was singing about stuff that was more current for his time when he was around, and things are a little bit more aggressive, I feel like, nowadays, especially with a lot of the stuff that's been going on. And I'm not political whatsoever, but you just get behind this guy because of how passionate he is. Even though, I wouldn't personally feel the same way he's feeling about certain things. He's just passionate about it. And people love when other people are passionate about something and they get really interested in it. And lyrically, it definitely shows that he's just so passionate, and he sits down and he takes the time to make his lyrics rhyme, which is a huge thing for me as well. I love it when lyrics rhyme, specifically in music like this, because it helps the rhythm. This thing is just so rhythm driven. It helps the rhythm just keep going, and it flows, and it's so hard. I mean, and the production on this is, it doesn't do a whole lot of different stuff, but it does enough to really break up, I don't want to say the monotony, but it keeps this album from being dull and just being just a straight up slugfest like a lot of other more hardcore bands tend to do, having it pan different ways, having different stuff more in front of the mix than others. I mean, it keeps the riffs sounding fresh all the way through. And my only issue I would have to say about this is, you could argue that all these songs sound the same. I mean, if you really want to make the argument, you could definitely do that. All the riffs kind of sound the same. If you don't like his vocals, you're gonna have a hard time because they don't really change throughout this entire album. There's no different vocal style that he does, which is, again, if you don't like it, that could be a huge issue. For me personally, I didn't have any of these problems at all. So with all that said, I gotta give Change the Way You Think About Pain by Incendiary a 7.7 out of 10. But I want to know what you guys think. Leave a comment below letting me know what you thought of Change the Way You Think About Pain. Let me know what you rate it and what your favorite song is. And I'm sure that most of you have not listened to it. Just check out a few of these songs. The album's only maybe over 30 minutes long, maybe just barely under. It's not long at all. It's so much fun. It's such a great listen. It goes by quick. So I encourage you to check them out. And if you enjoy this review, don't forget to give it a like. If you want to help support me and my channel, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell icon. That way you don't miss out on my future videos, especially if you give this video a like, because that encourages YouTube's algorithm to recommend me more often in your YouTube feed. And I just appreciate you guys so much taking time out of your day to listen to me sitting here and talk about music. I hope you have a good rest of your day or night, whenever you have me watching this. And I will talk to you guys next time.
was strong. An ignorant kid relying on my parents said to save me. Years gone by, instead of running, ignoring every day. Said to call